I'm Hunter Kelly, and this is Untethered Southerner. And Lord, if I'm not talking to an untethered Southerner right here, Mr. Adam Mack, putting on a Southern spectacle. Always. Thank you so much
Oh,
for putting
so
on
good to
full
see
glam for
your
me.
face. Oh my God, I've missed you so
I've
much.
missed you too, and I just am so glad that you're still up to it. But I gotta say, I gotta give you some flowers because it's been great to see you showing up in some major places, like just Billboard's actual Instagram
Who?
account
Billboard Baddie? Is that me?
as
I
the
think
country
so.
rookie of the month for November, fresh off a performance on the Kelly Clarkson show. Let's just start off with the Kelly Clarkson performance. First of all, I appreciate that you're wearing the jacket. That's the must be the official jacket for this album cycle.
Yeah, it's been my uniform, if you will. It's like comfy, cute, sexy. It's all the things I need it to be.
But also instantly recognizable. It's like Adam Mack, who you may have seen on the Kelly Clarkson show, daytime TV's number one get. That's what
Who,
everybody
me?
wants. You.
Yes.
But I just
How
got to say, I
crazy.
love that you did old photograph. And when I was programming music, you were always the one I could count on to have some kind of jam. But I got to tell you, like when I was listening to this album, Southern Spectacle, for the first time, I was like, I'm excited to get towards what he's saying that's more introspective because damn, you're a great songwriter.
Oh
And
my God.
you're a great songwriter. And this song,
Thank
Old
you.
Photograph, Lord, Clint, my husband made me go through a box of stuff that I had not unpacked since we moved like 2.5 years ago. And there was a photo of me and my ex 2 exes ago in that was okay.
Yes.
And it's such a thing. You just captured that so beautifully, especially in the beginning. You get jealous, you get a little nervous if they like them more than they like me. You just captured that so beautifully. Is that something
Oh,
you'd move through?
thank you for saying that. Honestly, when I wrote it, it was that exact scenario. It was changing out photographs from old picture frames and we just put them on top of each other and there's five photos behind. Like you never
Okay.
did that?
Oh.
No, maybe that was like my mom thing, but she just wouldn't take the photos out. She would just keep them all behind the
Oh my
photos.
God.
But I
Okay.
guess it was a thing for Lee too because it was Lee's photo. And so I found that photo and it was of him and his ex. And it was truly, that song is truly my moving through that moment of feeling like I know that an unhealed version of me would have been jealous and crazy, probably would have thrown them across the house. But it was in that moment where I like thought, oh my gosh, that kid who he was and the kid who I was at that time could have never had what we have right now. And I just thought that just hit me. And I thought, I need to write this song. And I just immediately started writing the verse and chorus and then had a write scheduled with Danny Stacy like the next day and brought it into her and was like, hey, I just like really feel like I need to write this song. And so we finished it together. And yeah, think it I didn't think it was going to be as like a universal, like hearing you say you literally had that exact same scenario
Like
happen.
just this past week, and it's really well. And Clint, I see photos of him and his ex, or he would see mine. And at the beginning of the relationship, he would get really pissed if he saw anybody that I'd even went on a date with or slept hooked up with at any
Yeah.
time. And
Yes.
honey, I guess over time you grow. You and Lee have been together what 8 years now.
Mhm.
You feel
Yeah.
y'all have grown in that
Oh
time.
my gosh. Yes. Yes. Lifetimes and leap years and or I don't know. But yeah, I think because this only happened, I think we wrote this song 2 years ago.
Okay.
So we had been together 6 years. I had the stability to know that didn't throw
Okay.
me. But I had the awareness to know that at a time in my life 10 years ago that would have thrown me and I would have
Yes.
probably went off the deep end. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I so mature? Is this what like growth is?
Oh my God, growth, honey. Yes.
Yeah.
I just got to say, I got major FOMO watching your album release show. I watched it on your socials and then Jordy Cray's coverage, wall to wall.
It was
I need
fun.
to meet her. She seems real fun. I just love
Oh,
her
love. Oh my
updates.
God, y'all would just
I know.
connect. Oh my God, so great. Love
It,
Jordy so much.
but I got to ask about this moment that I saw. Like the moment that has stuck with me from watching the video footage was that curtain open up and you already just shimmying. How long had you been dreaming of that dramatic opening?
For about 3 weeks that I had been working on that outfit. Ford, my manager and creative confidant, had sent me an Instagram reel like a month ago, but it was like this girl and she was at a rave and she had a head to toe discoed bodysuit on, and it was like all these lights hitting her and she was the disco ball. And I was like, oh my god, I need that moment for myself. And I thought, what can I do? My bestie slash like co-creator Raina, she does all of like Lainey's tour wear and all of the cool shit that Lainey's wearing. A lot of it was made by Raina, and she is my neighbor, so that's convenient.
Oh
So I
my
was
God,
telling
yes.
her this idea about being the disco ball, and she was like, you've got those chaps, you've got this vest, you need to paint that thing metallic, and you need to put those disco glass pieces all over it. And so for 3 weeks, I sat at my table, just
With your
stoned and
hot glue gun
stoning.
and a prayer.
Yes, yes. It was actually E7000 in a prayer, but same thing.
Okay. I just loved it, and I just love it. I just love a dramatic opening. I was raised on Reba McEntire concerts when her and Narvel were at the peak. So, like
Yes,
me, little gay boy growing
yes.
up in the
Where's the
90s.
drama? Where is the drama at the shows?
Yes, honey. So, I love,
Agreed.
thank you so much for bringing it. Thank
Bring the
you,
drama.
as always. You have gotten married. Congratulations. You're a married lady. Are you hyphenating like Hillary Rodham Clinton?
No, we're not doing any of that shit
Keeping your
because,
maiden name?
yeah, they barely let us get married these days. So I'm like, you think I'm going to go through all that paperwork just for them to take it away?
I know.
No.
Well,
No.
it's still independent women. I did see a stat though. I want to say this that like the marriage rate for straights is pretty bad. Lesbians are pretty intense, and then gay men are pretty
I
low,
saw that same thing, and I think the lesbians were like the highest.
honey. Which, but that's listen. The volatility of those relationships is why we got so much good karaoke at Lipstick Lounge all these years. Because those lesbians, when they get up there and work their shit out,
They
honey,
will air it out at the Lipstick Lounge.
honey, they will get up there and do karaoke, and it
And
is
I'll be there eating French fries
oh,
and just eating
honey.
it up.
Oh, the devotion, the pain. The U-Haul, the lesbian of the lake with the U-Haul. Oh my God. Anyway, back to your gay marriage.
Back to me being married.
Last Rodeo is such a wonderful song, and I can see it all happening in Sedona because that place has been there for me and sometimes where I needed some healing.
Yes.
Why did y'all
Yes.
choose that spot?
So we went, that was our first trip after you were allowed to travel post pandemic.
Hmm.
We had just been cooped up and we had been seeing all of these things for Sedona. And we were thinking, like, if we go somewhere, we want it to be somewhere not overly populated where we can
Hmm.
be outdoors and do things. And we went and we fell in love. It was like, the energy, just like being there, it reset something for us. We went back 6 months later just because we were like, we loved it. So we went back, and then I think we've actually been 4 times, and the fourth time was when we got married.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay, so that's y'all's
so
place.
we just love it. And so we thought when we were thinking about getting married, we knew we didn't want to do like ceremonies. All power to people loving that kind of. I love attention in different ways, but I don't want that. I don't want the stress of a wedding and is everyone enjoying themselves. It's like I've seen too many of my friends get married and then not have a great time.
Hmm.
But I knew that was not for me, and Lee felt the same way. So we just thought, where can we just run away to and get married? And it was Sedona, obviously. And we did a sunrise wedding at 5 a.m. That
5
was
a.m.
fucking crazy.
Did you have coffee beforehand or what,
It
girl?
was so early. We had to get up at 4 a.m.
Of course, but your body's probably still close to Nashville time. So,
Exactly. And it was only, we had flown in the night before
okay,
and then woke up at our normal time. And yeah, but honestly, it was so perfect because
good.
of the weather and stuff. It's so hot once the sun comes up. You really have to do it at sunrise or sunset. So it was just like we climbed to the top of Baby Bell Rock, and at 5:30 a.m. the sun was just like peeking over, girl. It was like, it was so magical. It was so perfect. And then we just kind of spent the week in Sedona just pampering ourselves.
I love that. I got to go back. We only spent like 48 hours there.
Oh my gosh,
We
yeah.
did a little Southwest trip, and Clint somehow got sick, and so he was basically in the hotel room in bed the entire time. He missed Sedona, so we need to go back.
You got to do a redo.
Yeah, also, I just have to ask your husband, Lee, there was a photo of y'all together at your album release party, and I just was like, he is a Ken doll.
Oh my God.
His face is so symmetrical, and that curly hair.
And the curly hair.
Have y'all talked about doing a Lee doll for a merch item?
Oh my God. Do we need like a Ken doll, like a Lee doll?
I
We
think
need
you need a
that.
Lee doll. Yeah,
I'm taking it to the team.
and of course, you lend yourself to a doll. Your looks, please.
I'm the living doll. He needs.
But
We need one for him.
I swear, because I think I saw
beautiful.
something that was like Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington. They both have perfectly symmetrical
Symmetrical
faces.
faces.
And my face, I just like certain angles. I'm more like, I love it. I'm like,
Oh, I
honey,
know.
you got to catch
That's
me.
what all this does for me. Is
I'm
it,
like,
it evens
I'm
out
like,
the
where
playing
is my
field.
nose going today? And then my hair. Which that, if you have not spent 48 hours listening to Barbara Streisand read her book on tape, you can get some good. She never fixed her nose, so you can get some good things about angling and lighting.
Yes, lean into it. Yeah, no, but he's beautiful. No, he's beautiful.
Yes, honey, you're both beautiful. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I had to say that. Let's get back to the record, Southern Spectacle.
Okay.
I just want to give you a chance to brag on your collaborators on this record. I was reading your Billboard piece, and you just name dropped them like Jason Mader, Sean Trainer, Warren Ricker, Hallie, and Nell Maynard, and Sweet Sonya Lee, who just, oh my God. Sonya, I've known Sonya since she was writing with the Zach Brown Band
Yes,
back in the
yes,
day. And just, oh my gosh. So
yes.
tell me about just the collaborators on this record that help you bring it to life.
Yeah, you mentioned Sonya, and I think that's a great place to start because when I started writing this album, Sonya was one of my main collaborators. We have 4 songs, I think, on the album, and many that didn't make it that are great songs. But it's weird because when I moved to Nashville 13 years ago was around that time that you probably met her, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like writing Sweet Annie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember moving here and like being a fan of her as like a songwriter, and then she had her
Get put
solo
records
career. I
out. Yeah.
remember seeing Money on CMT, her music video for that song, and obviously knowing she was a lesbian and being like, holy shit,
Yeah.
okay. And then flash forward, we met probably 5 years ago at a human rights campaign event. And then over the past, let's say, 3 years, we've really just started working together a lot. And she's just such a brilliant collaborator. She's so easy to write with. She introduced me to Jason, who produced the majority of my album.
Yeah.
And so, really, Sonya is a connector, and she has been such a champion for me and just like such a good friend. Sonya Lee, and then, of course, Chris Hausman, who is like my
Oh, yeah.
best
Well,
friend in life.
we're
And
going to have a
then,
Chris Houseman section in a minute. I've got that planned next.
but then we have Jason Mader, who produced it. We have Hallie and Gigi, who Hallie co-produced Southern Spectacle, the song, and they both co-wrote it with me and Sonya. And then who else do we have? We have Robert Adam. Do you Robert Adam?
Love his voice.
Yes, you actually put me onto him on Proud Radio. You sent me one of his songs and you said, you need to listen to this. And then I dove into who Robert Adam is.
Oh,
And I
I'm
was
so
like,
glad that y'all connected.
so then he was in Nashville for a contest that he had won. And I asked him to write, and he was like, after the fact, he told me he normally doesn't co-write. He just couldn't say no. And
Yeah, well, he's up there
I
in
was like,
Canada. You know, Lord knows there's so much space in Canada.
yes. So he came down here and we wrote Daydream, and that was the last song that wrote for the album.
Which
And
is
it was like,
such, I feel like it's a taste of something new that you're
Me too.
exploring.
Me too. It's funny you say that because it was the last song that I wrote. It was also in the heat of this year that we have had, and it was just of my little breakaway that I needed from reality, and that's
Honey.
just who I
Yeah.
am. So I just need that sometimes. Like for me to show up for people, I have to make sure that I like protect my spirit, and that is what that song is to me. And Robert, I feel like I can hear some of Robert's like melodies in that song. So yes, Robert, gosh, there's so many. Danny Myrick, who is like just such a songwriting powerhouse.
Mhm.
Him and his wife Megan, we wrote Rhinestone. Yeah, and there were a lot of queer songwriters in these sessions that I was having. I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only queer person in the room,
Yeah.
which sometimes there's a couple songs where I was, but for the most part of this album, it was a collection of queer experiences. It was my friends who are queer helping pull those stories out of me and understanding them a
Mhm.
bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, the collaborators for this album just really helped make it what it is.
Okay, it's time to talk about The Outside, your song with Chris Houseman. This
Yeah.
song for me has been so healing
Same.
because when Proud Radio was canceled, I went through a lot of emotions of,
Totally.
okay, when it was right before the election, it felt like all these corporations were just like, let's batten down the hatches, anti-DEI to get ready for the Trump bullshit.
Yes.
And that's why like I wanted to do Untethered Southerner, my Substack, but also just to be able to continue to have these conversations. But also, honestly, I went through a lot of feelings. I wanted to be honest about how things worked in Nashville and in country
Mhm.
music. And if anybody had ever gotten a false impression from me that, oh, doors are open, I wanted to go back and say publicly that we are seeing a lot of stuff. And some other people who had worked in this space with me, this was really my first time coming out and being so public about being queer and in the country space. And I'd heard from some other people who've been around the block before, is there's gonna be pushback, and we've seen it. And so I just want to thank you so much for this song, you and Chris, because you do speak honestly about that line. One never said it out loud, and nobody had to. I think from the outside looking in, it's, oh, he's on Kelly Clarkson. He's Billboard's Pick of the Month. He's been on CMT. And this album's great. You get to the point, it's like, I had conversations about you, I had conversations about Chris Houseman with people at labels and being like, this person is ready. And so there's part of it that you and Chris have been so inspirational to me and how you keep showing up. But also, I just want to thank both of you for being so honest in this song because do you feel that? I just,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think I think we felt all of those things heavily. And what happened was our co-writer Nell had been to a luncheon here in town with all of these who's who of songwriters and industry folk, and she was just left it feeling just like she didn't belong there. Like she didn't really have a seat at that table, and that what was she really doing in that space? And came to our right here, and I had been feeling very similarly.
mm,
And in the shower, like before getting ready before the right, I had this download from the universe, which was that chorus of The Outside.
mhm.
And I was just singing through it and came up with that chorus. They got here. Nell told me this story, and I said, this is so crazy, but I just got this song. This song just came to me in the shower. Can I play it for you? And I played the chorus for them, and I like look up, and Nell is like bawling, crying, and she's like, "That's what we're writing today." And so I think for us, that's writing that song healed something and also put a lot of things into perspective and gave us an appreciation of where we are versus where we think we should be. And that's a powerful lifting of pressure to
Mhm.
feel like no. Look around. Look at our family. Look at our tribe of people. This is where we're supposed to be. It's on the outside or on the inside with them sitting at the table. And I think I've leaned on that a lot. Like you said, it looks like all of these wonderful things are happening, and all these wonderful things are happening. But I find myself just leaning on my community, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And just keeping that, knowing that we are busting our asses and we're working hard and we're doing all of the work, whether I have a label behind me or
And
not.
making excellent art like that you're
Thank you.
proud of that
Thank you.
stands up. And I honestly, I dip my toe back into mainstream country like every 3 months or so.
Yeah, thank you.
And I have to take a nerve pill because I just, at this point, I see like Nickelback being the classic artist, like the grandfather of all these artists, and I'm like, I didn't like that sound in the 2000s. I don't like it now. Like I, Adam, I love music. I love all kinds of music,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
that
Same
just
for
it's not
yeah.
for me. And so I
And that
just
has become a cornerstone in popular country sound
yeah, in the popular
right
country
now.
sound, and I just
Mhm.
don't respond to it, but I do respond to this album and just it's just so the outside. I just wanted to let y'all know that I've been trying to toe that same line of keeping on, and there are people like us because we've seen it. We see it over and over
Mhm.
again. You hear
Mhm.
people, that they want this, they feel seen with this. And
Yes.
there is so much coming from the right that just wants us to think all those things we grew up thinking that we had to be that way. And which kind of leads me to the song I want to talk about next, Golden Boy. Are you ready
Oh,
emotionally to unpack this?
yes.
Talk about vulnerability. But so many people, queer people, share this story about just feeling so different. You grew up in Russellville, Kentucky. I grew up in
Mhm.
Gardendale, Alabama.
Mhm.
Just, honey, we are the way we are. And
Yeah, and there was like, no, we tried to hide it, but I feel like in the early days, I didn't know that I was supposed to hide it. You know what I mean?
there's a video of me at 9 or 10 years old, and I'm just with my grandfather. I'm a lot like my grandfather. He was straight, but just a nut and read a
Yeah.
lot. And I still have his bookcase in my office. And I'm just being completely myself. And I'm like, that little queen. Oh my. And
Mm.
then,
Had she been able to flourish? I think about that a lot. To no fault of my parents in some
yeah,
ways, they did the best that they could with the knowledge that they had. But I do often think, like, what could I have become had I had the space to be exactly who I was and never encountered those guardrails that I
yeah.
did eventually? And for this song, I honestly had the idea and took it into a session with Sean Trainer and Blake Haney and thought that it was just going to be a little like therapy session, a little thing that we did but in the studio behind closed doors, and I got to work through some things, and then that would be it, and we would shut that song away and we would never really play it or release it because that was like a little too deep. Then of course I let Lee and Ford and other people hear it, and then there was no stopping them at that point. But also I think we had good conversations that helped me understand how powerful that story is, and although it's like really scary to put it all out there like
Hmm.
that, because I'm a person who is empathetic and cares whether or not I like the person, I do care that they're like, I care for people. And even my dad, who we have an estranged relationship, haven't spoken in years, and never had a great relationship growing up, my older brother and him had everything in common. They would hunt and fish and all the things. And those things just weren't for me. I tried to go hunting with them. I just screamed and scared the deer off because didn't want them to die. And my brother's retired from the military and was in the military from the time he was 18 until for 15 years, I think. And so he's the epitome of a son. And him and I have a fine relationship. And when we are together, we have a great time. So the song's not necessarily about him so much as it is the relationship that my dad and I had. And I think that we had to explain that at first, because I think upon first listen he was a little, but for me it was bigger than that. And it was just me working through the issues that my dad and I had and putting that to rest and assuring myself that I have everything that I need to be who I want to be. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm not missing anything from him or any approval. I don't need any approval from him
Hmm.
to be this person that I am. And that song was really diving into that and finding that strength and kind of healing that part of me and saying, no, I can be my own kind of golden boy. That's the last line on the album. And I always like a last line on the album to be something that you like can sit with. And for me, that was that line. And it's a line that I like in times of doubt, like will think about and no, I have everything that I need. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
a
it's
lot.
when it is a lot. Speaking of father figures who can be a little abrasive, I interviewed Sam Williams on Proud Radio when he came out, and I'd known him for a long time at that point because I was friends with his sisters, Holly and Hillary. And so sometimes I'd go to the mall with Hillary, and Sam would be there sometimes. And so it was so great to watch him grow up, but I was able to ask him about his daddy's song Dinosaur, which I have known because I had this thing where for a while, every time I go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, I'd buy a new Hank Williams Jr. CD. Because he was hardcore. There were rumors about him when I was growing up that he had whipped his dick out and peed on the audience at a show. In like my cousin told me
Why?
that wild stuff. And anyway, so listening to Dinosaur by Hank Jr. It's on the Habits Old and New album. I love that album, but it is so homophobic. And I think he was talking about Boy George. When you went and reclaimed it, bitch. Oh my God, honey. What led you? First of all, how did you know that song? Because that song is as old as I am. And B, what led you to really flip the script on it?
Truth is, I loved that song as a kid, like a preteen kid, 12, 13. And I thought it was funny at the time as a kid. And then also, like, the vocals are soaring. You know what I mean? And I was always,
Yeah.
yeah, I was always a sucker for anything I could really sing. And I felt like I could really sing that song. So I would sing that song as a kid. And then flash forward to all this gayness and putting all of this out there. Of course, the Boy George references and then came the Hank wouldn't have done it this way. You need to go listen to Dinosaur. You need to go listen to Dinosaur. I can't tell you how many times I got that comment. And in my head, I was like, y'all are so stupid. Like, my little hillbilly ass in Kentucky grew up singing that song. So you're not telling me nothing. And so I thought, let me just do a little acoustic cover of it and reply to one of those little trolls. And honestly, it blew up. And we thought for the album release, it also inspired this other song that I teased online with just a demo, which I don't know why I did that. But it's called Hate to See Me Coming. And it like also got a pretty big reaction.
Oh, you're out here releasing demos in the economy, giving away for free in this economy?
It felt so, it was immediate clapback. I felt like I did that song and then I got all of these troll comments. And then I had this session with Tristan McIntosh and Frank Romano. And I was like, I have this idea for this song, Hate to See Me Coming. And it is just taking all of the things. And so I decided at my show to close the show by doing Dinosaur and then weaving it into Hate to See Me Coming. And it was like the most fun moment of the show. The crowd was so rowdy. And it just feels like a little bit like reclaiming that song a little bit. You know what I mean? It feels like that song meant something to me as a little queer hillbilly child. For me, it was like, you can't weaponize that song against me. And we just turned it on its head.
Yeah. And also, I was around Nashville a long time, and I know there are some classic country artists who have indulged in homosexual activity. We're not going to name names, but we could.
We're not here to do that, but they know who they are.
But okay, so let's talk about the Cowgays. With you and Brooke Eden and Chris Houseman. Honey, a super group. What's going on?
Oh my gosh. So we've been teasing a little bit. They came and joined me at my show and we did a little performance together a few weeks ago. We are truly like best friends in life. Like that's our
I see y'all.
That's who we hang out with. We are just really close friends and they are like family to me. But then they're also two of the most talented artists that I have ever heard.
Yes.
So it was only natural that we would get drunk and start singing together. And that's how we discovered that our voices together were something special. In Tulum in Mexico.
Yeah.
We just started singing in a stairwell in our little villa thing. And it was like magic. And so then over the past couple of years, we've just been writing some songs and it's really been so fun. I think all of us have that 90s country nostalgia embedded in it, and that's what we were all raised on. We never had a queer perspective with that 90s sound. So we've been really diving into kind of just thinking about the sounds of the 90s and what that would sound like as like a queer soundtrack. And it's been campy, it has been hilarious, and it's been heartwarming. Like honestly, it's been so fun to write with the two of them as a trio with three
Yes. And
personalities.
some harmonies in there.
Yes. Oh my, Chris Hausman is our harmony king. We could not do this group without him. He stacks us up, gets us going.
Okay. Adam Mack, thank you so much. It's just fed my soul today to connect with you.
Girl.
And up here in Chicago, I don't hear. It was so good to just talk as country as I want.
Hear a fellow hillbilly's voice,
honey. I feel a little Midwestern. Everybody here is so sweet.
Totally.
So many queer people. Midwestern people are amazing. But they just don't have that little bit of see you next Tuesday that we have. Because we're a little mean. We're nice.
We were born with it.
We're born with it, but we're going to talk shit about you. Real nice.
Thank you.
So
oh my God, I love
you
so much.
I love you too. 100%. I don't know how I'm going to get paid for it, but having these conversations with you and Chris and the artists that are still making country music, even in the face of what they're trying to do to us, honey.
We're going to be louder.
We're going to be louder, honey. Because what we know is, as much as we talk about our family of origin, honey, we're not the first queer people and we will not be the last. We've always been here. We have a deep line of people. Yes. Including some country artists who were in the closet. I said it. Okay, I'll tell you who once I stop this video.
Oh my God, tell me. Stop the record.